Hello. Before we begin, take a slow breath and ask yourself a simple question. What are the thoughts that live in my mind most often? It might sound like an unusual place to start, but this is exactly where everything in this book begins. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. The author doesn't just share ideas. He guides you through one of the most important realizations anyone can have. Your thoughts shape your reality. This concept isn't new. It goes back to ancient philosophy, to Buddha, to modern psychology, and to every person who has ever reinvented their life. But here, it's laid out in a way that's simple, real, and most importantly, usable. Today, in part one, we talk about the core truth behind it all. Your reality is a reflection of your thinking. Brain thoughts aren't background noise, they're the blueprint. Imagine your mind is a garden. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you're planting seeds. Those seeds are your thoughts. Doubt is a seed. Confidence is a seed. Fear also a seed. So is hope. And whatever you water the most grows. You might say, but I don't choose what I think. Thoughts just pop into my head. And that's true to a point. This is where the book introduces one of its key lessons. Awareness is the first step to creating your reality. You can't always control your first thought, but you can always choose what to do with it. Push pin a real-life example. Let's say you wake up in the morning and the first thought that comes to your mind is, I'm so tired. I can't do this today. That might seem like a harmless thought. It's just how you feel, right? But what if you believe that thought? What if you carry it into your morning, into your job, into every conversation? Suddenly, your day feels heavier. You stop noticing small opportunities. You don't speak up, don't try new things because mentally, the day already feels lost. Now, imagine instead, you woke up and told yourself, today, I'm going to be just 1% better. Not 100%, not even 10%, just one. That one tiny thought is a spark. It lights the smallest part of you, and it pulls you forward. Light bulb what you think, you become. The book doesn't say thoughts magically turn into success or love or wealth. No, it's more honest than that. You can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. And that response? That's where your real power begins. Because when you control your reactions, you shift your energy. And energy fuels decisions. And decisions build the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Books, you don't have to believe your thoughts, but you must question them. That's one of the most important takeaways from this first chapter. Your brain generates thousands of thoughts every single day. Some help you, some hurt you. You're not your thoughts. You're the observer of your thoughts. And that means you get to choose which ones to keep and which ones to release. Counterclockwise zeros button the cycle. Thoughts, emotions, actions, results. Think about it. Every thought creates a feeling. That feeling triggers a reaction. That reaction leads to action. And that action creates a result. If you constantly think, I'm going to fail, that creates anxiety or fear. You delay, avoid, or self-sabotage. And the result? You fail, just like you predicted. The mind sees that and goes, see, I was right. The cycle reinforces itself. But what if the thought was, I might not know how yet, but I'm capable of learning? That kind of thought opens a door. It creates momentum. Repeat button, thinking is a habit. This is a big one. Thinking isn't just about awareness. It's also about habit. You won't wake up one day suddenly positive, but you can shift slowly every day just 1% by building new thought habits. Here's what the author suggests. 1. Write a thought journal. Take just 5 minutes a day. Write what you're thinking. Not what you want to think, but what's really there. Over time, patterns will appear. 2. Notice your triggers. What situations make you spiral into negativity? It could be work, family, failure, social media. Learn your patterns. 3. Use the what-if reframe. Ask, what if this works out better than I imagine? What if this failure is part of the process? What if I'm more capable than I've been taught to believe? Hammer and wrench your mind is a tool, and you can train it. One of the most empowering ideas in this book is this. You weren't born with a positive or negative mindset. You built it, or someone built it for you. Just like muscles in the gym, you could train your thinking. If you want strength, you work out. If you want clarity, you practice mental focus. If you want confidence, you develop thoughts that align with it. It doesn't happen in one day, but it starts with one thought. Direct hit: you are not a victim. You are a creator. Let's be clear. The world is messy. People will betray you. Circumstances will shift. Sometimes life is brutally unfair. But that's not the point. The point is this. You're not just the result of what happens to you. You're the result of how you choose to respond. That is your power. Man in lotus position to close part 1. Your thoughts are not meaningless background noise. They are instructions to your brain. They are the filter through which you experience life. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to always believe the best. You just have to begin noticing and choosing better. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. That's not a motivational poster. That's reality. Beliefs, the hidden code that shapes everything. What you believe about yourself quietly defines everything in your life. Not just how you feel, not just what you do, but what you expect, what you tolerate, what you even dare to dream about. Beliefs are invisible, but powerful. They're the silent architecture behind every decision you make. If thoughts are the seeds of your reality, then beliefs are the soil they grow in. Brain, what is a belief? A belief is a thought that you've accepted as truth. It doesn't have to be based on fact. It only has to be repeated often enough or emotionally enough for your brain to accept it. Most beliefs aren't formed through logic. They're formed through experience, emotion, and repetition. Some beliefs help you grow. Others quietly hold you back. Push-pin common examples of limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. I always fail. I'm too old. I'm not smart enough. People like me don't succeed. I don't deserve to be happy. These statements sound final, but they're not truths. They're beliefs, and beliefs can be changed. Child, where do beliefs come from? Most of your deepest beliefs were created when you were a child. They were passed down through family, teachers, culture, religion, and society. You might have learned that showing emotion is weakness, that money causes problems, that your voice doesn't matter, that it's dangerous to stand out. These messages become internalized. And even though the world changes, you keep living by those same old rules. The result? You build a life based on invisible limits you didn't choose. Counterclockwise Zero's button, how beliefs shape reality. Imagine two people in the same situation. Both are offered a job interview. Both have the same experience, but their beliefs are different. One believes, I probably won't get it. I'm not that impressive. The other believes, I have something valuable to offer. Let's see what happens. Same situation, completely different energy, completely different behavior, and in most cases, completely different result. That's how belief changes outcome. Direct hit: the belief loop. Here's how the belief loop works. You believe something. That belief influences how you act. Your actions create results. Those results reinforce your belief. If you believe you're not worthy, you act small. You avoid risks. You play it safe. And you never get proof that you're capable, which confirms your original belief. But if you believe you're growing, learning, improving, you act differently. You try, you speak up, you fail forward. And soon, you see new evidence. The loop becomes your ally, not your prison. Magnifying glass tilted right: how to spot a hidden belief. Start by noticing any sentence in your mind that begins with, I always, I never, I can't. That's just the way I am. Write them down. They seem small, but they point to the deeper code your mind is running. Behind, I always mess up, might be the belief. I'm not capable. Behind, I'm not a people person, might be the belief. I don't belong. Spotting the belief is the first step toward changing it. Repeat button: can beliefs be changed? Yes, but not instantly. A belief is like a mental muscle. It was built through repetition, and it must be rewritten the same way, patiently, consistently, intentionally. There are 3 steps. Step 1, identify. Name the belief. Say it out loud. See it for what it is, not a truth, but a thought that took root. Step 2, question. Ask, where did this belief come from? Is it based on facts or fear? Who benefits from me believing this? Often, you'll realize the belief came from someone else's pain, not your own truth. Step 3, replace. Create a new belief that supports your growth. Example: old, I always give up. New, I'm learning to finish what I start, even when it's uncomfortable. Old, I don't deserve success. New, I'm building a life that reflects my value. Repetition matters. Say it, write it, visualize it. The brain rewires through consistent input. Brick watch for inherited beliefs. Many of the beliefs we carry aren't ours. They were passed down like hand-me-down clothes, and we wear them without questioning the fit. Beliefs like, money is evil, don't trust people, you'll never be more than your parents. Play it safe, dreaming is foolish. Whose voice is that in your head? Your job isn't to hate those who pass these beliefs on. Your job is to break the chain so it doesn't continue through you. Hammer and wrench identity is built on belief. How you see yourself becomes who you are. If you believe, I'm resilient, you get up after failure. I'm not creative, you never try. I can learn. You adapt, grow, and surprise yourself. You don't become confident by accident. You become confident by believing you can grow and proving it to yourself over and over again. Pushpin: rebuilding the foundation. Changing your beliefs is not about blind positivity. It's about creating an internal environment where growth is possible. You are allowed to rewrite the story. You are allowed to drop beliefs that hurt you. You are allowed to believe in your own potential, even if no one else did. Because here's the truth. You do not rise to the level of your dreams. You rise to the level of your beliefs. Puzzle piece summary. Beliefs are learned, not born. Most limiting beliefs were formed in childhood or trauma. Your beliefs shape your behavior, and your behavior shapes your reality. You can reprogram your beliefs through awareness, repetition, and truth. You are not broken. You are becoming. The inner critic, where doubt begins. Inside every person's mind lives a voice. It whispers when you make a mistake. It shouts when you take a risk. It repeats old fears, old insults, old judgments. That voice is the inner critic. And for many people, it speaks louder than truth, louder than logic, louder than possibility. It doesn't care about facts. It only cares about keeping you small. Brain, what is the inner critic? The inner critic is the internal voice that judges, blames, shames, and doubts you. It says things like, you always ruin everything. You're not smart enough. People will laugh at you. Why even try? You'll fail again. You're a fraud, and they'll find out. It's harsh, cold, often cruel. But here's the strange part. The inner critic isn't trying to destroy you. It's trying to protect you. Exploding head, where does it come from? The inner critic is born from fear. And fear is often born in childhood. Maybe someone criticized you constantly. Maybe love was conditional. You had to be perfect to earn it. Maybe you were punished for making mistakes. Maybe you learned that approval only came when you performed or obeyed. So the inner critic became a kind of mental bodyguard. It tries to keep you safe by stopping you before others can hurt you. If I criticize myself first, it says, no one else can surprise me. But what starts as protection eventually becomes a prison. Pushpin: what it sounds like. The inner critic has many voices. Sometimes it sounds like your own. Sometimes it sounds like a parent, teacher, or someone who hurt you. It might say, you'll never be good enough. Don't even try. You always screw things up. They're better than you. Stay quiet. Don't make a fool of yourself. And the more you believe it, the more you stop living. Warning: how it affects your life. The inner critic doesn't just affect your mood. It shapes your choices. People with strong inner critics often avoid taking risks, apologize for existing, overthink simple decisions, sabotage success, reject compliments, stay in unhealthy relationships, never feel ready for anything. And even when they succeed, they feel like imposters, like they don't deserve it, like someone's going to find out they're a fake. That's the power of the inner critic. It makes you believe you're never enough. Magnifying glass tilted left, how to recognize it. Start noticing your thoughts, especially when you feel fear or hesitation. Ask, would I say this to a friend I love? Is this voice helping me or hurting me? Whose voice is this really? The inner critic often hides in thoughts that feel automatic or normal. But when you shine a light on it, it starts to lose its grip. Light bulb: you are not your inner critic. This is a key idea in the book. You're not the voice in your head. You're the one who hears it. The inner critic is not your truth. It's a pattern, a leftover defense mechanism that no longer serves you. You can hear it without obeying it. You can feel its fear and still move forward. Hammer and wrench how to disarm the inner critic. Step 1. Name it. Give a name. Call it the doubter, the saboteur, the old tape, even Bob. When you name it, you separate it from yourself. You stop seeing it as me and start seeing it as a voice I no longer need to follow. Step 2. Challenge it. When the critic speaks, pause and ask, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Is there another way to see this? Most inner critic thoughts don't survive this kind of questioning. Step 3. Replace it. Don't just fight the voice, replace it. Say, I'm learning. I'm allowed to try. I'm enough as I am. Making mistakes is part of growing. I don't need to be perfect to be valuable. This isn't fake positivity. It's mental reprogramming. Your brain rewires through new input. Every time you replace the critic with compassion, you build strength. Person in lotus position, inner critic versus inner coach. The book introduces a powerful shift. Replace your inner critic with an inner coach. A coach still pushes you, but with belief, not shame. A coach says, you've got this. That didn't work? Let's try again. Keep going. You're growing. You don't need a cheerleader who lies to you. You need a coach who reminds you of your strength, even when you forget it yourself. Puzzle piece summary. The inner critic is a learned voice that tries to protect you through fear. It's often rooted in childhood experiences or emotional wounds. Left unchecked, it creates self-doubt, fear, and limitation. You are not your inner critic. You are the one observing it. You can learn to challenge, replace, and eventually quiet that voice. Compassion is stronger than criticism, and growth comes from support, not shame. You become what you feed your mind. Your attention is the most valuable resource you have. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And over time, your life becomes a reflection of what you constantly give your attention to. In a world filled with distractions, training your mind to focus has become a superpower. Brain attention shapes identity. Everything you focus on, what you read, what you watch, who you listen to, what you think about, it all enters your mind like food. Your mind digests these inputs and builds your worldview, your beliefs, your confidence, and your choices based on them. Focus is not just about productivity. It's about identity construction. What you focus on becomes who you are. Mobile phone, the age of distraction. We live in a time where attention is under attack. Social media, breaking news, endless notifications. It's all designed to steal your focus. Every ping, every swipe, every scroll fragments your mind. You become scattered, overwhelmed, reactive. And when your attention is scattered, your sense of direction disappears with it. You may feel tired, not from working hard, but from trying to focus on too many things at once. Puzzle piece: why focus matters. The book explains, clarity begins where distraction ends. Focus isn't just about saying yes to one thing. It's also about saying no to 100 others. When your mind is focused, you think deeper, you feel calmer, you gain momentum, you make decisions with intention. It's not that your life becomes easier, it becomes clearer. And clarity is powerful. Counterclockwise arrows button, your mind reflects what you repeatedly feed it. Here's something simple but profound. What you feed your mind, it starts to crave. If you constantly read bad news, your brain will search for danger. If you scroll through negativity, you'll feel anxious. If you dwell on failure, you'll expect more of it. But if you read ideas that stretch you, if you listen to people who challenge you, if you focus on growth, learning, solutions, then over time, your mind changes shape. It becomes stronger, more focused, more confident. Magnifying glass tilted left, what are you giving your attention to? Ask yourself, what do I focus on when I wake up? What do I focus on before bed? What do I pay attention to when I'm stressed? Who do I listen to the most? Others or myself? What thoughts take the most space in my mind? The answers to these questions reveal what you're feeding your mind daily. You don't need perfection. You need awareness. Once you're aware, you can start to choose differently. Light bulb focus can be trained. The mind doesn't naturally sit still. It wanders, questions, daydreams. That's normal, but you can train it like a muscle. Here are a few simple ways. 1. Practice single tasking. Do one thing at a time. Not 5 tabs. Not multitasking. Just one focus with intention. Your brain learns stillness through simplicity. 2. Use the what now question. When your mind drifts or spirals, pause and ask, what is the next right thing I can focus on? This grounds your energy in the present moment. 3. Build a mental diet. Create a routine of feeding your mind good input. Read one uplifting page every morning. Watch videos that inspire, not drain. Follow people who make you think, not just react. Limit exposure to emotional junk food. Just like physical health, your mental health depends on what you consume. Hammer and wrench, your focus builds your future. If you focus on the problem, you feel stuck. If you focus on the lesson, you feel empowered. If you focus on the past, you feel regret. If you focus on the present, you feel peace. If you focus on the future with intention, you feel purpose. You don't need to control everything, but you can choose what you give your energy to. Every day, every hour, every moment. That's where your power is. Seedling energy follows attention. Have you noticed this? When you start thinking about buying a certain car, you see it everywhere. When you worry about getting sick, your body feels more tense. When you focus on kindness, you notice more of it in others. Your attention filters your world. It shows you what you've trained it to look for. Train it to look for peace, you'll find more of it. Train it to look for opportunity, it'll start to appear. Train it to look for growth, and you'll evolve faster than you imagined. Puzzle piece summary. Focus is your most powerful tool, and it's under constant pressure. Your mind becomes what you feed it. What you pay attention to shapes your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and actions. Focus can be trained, and simplicity is key. Every moment, you have a choice. Feed fear or feed clarity. You don't need to fix everything. Just shift your attention. That's where change begins. Fear, the emotion that pretends to protect you. Fear isn't just a feeling. It's a signal, a story, sometimes even a habit. Everyone feels fear. It's part of being human, but not everyone is ruled by it. And the difference between the two can change everything. Brain, what is fear, really? Fear is a survival tool. It's your brain's way of saying, something might go wrong. Stay safe. In physical danger, fear is helpful. It can save your life. But in everyday life, in relationships, careers, dreams, fear becomes overactive. It stops protecting you and starts limiting you. The book reminds us, fear doesn't stop death. It stops life. Magnifying glass tilted left fear has many disguises. Fear doesn't always feel like terror. It often shows up in subtle forms. Overthinking, procrastination, avoiding decisions, perfectionism, staying busy to avoid silence, saying yes when you want to say no, doubting yourself when things go well. These behaviors aren't laziness. They're often fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of rejection, fear of being seen, fear of not being enough. The fear isn't always loud, but it's constant. Warning how fear controls choices. When fear is in charge, it narrows your life. You say no to opportunities. You stay in unhealthy situations. You stop before you even try. You settle for safe instead of what you truly want. The brain chooses what's familiar, even if it hurts, because fear says, at least it's predictable. This is why many people stay stuck, not because they can't grow, but because fear whispers, what if you fail? And they listen. The brain's bias towards safety. Your mind is wired for survival, not for happiness. Its job is to avoid risk, not to explore potential. The book explains this clearly. Your brain would rather keep you in a painful pattern than risk the unknown. That's why transformation often feels uncomfortable. Growth requires facing fear, not avoiding it. Light bulb fear thrives in uncertainty. Fear grows strongest in silence, in delay, in mental loops. That's why decisions are powerful. When you name the fear, face it, and act anyway. Its grip weakens. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the willingness to move with it. Repeat button, what if fear isn't a stop sign? What if fear isn't a warning, but a signal that you're stepping outside your comfort zone? What if it means you're growing? What if it's a sign you're on the right path? Ask yourself, is this fear based on fact or on a story? What's the worst that could happen? And could I handle it? What's the cost of doing nothing? Often, doing nothing feels safe, but it builds regret. And regret is much heavier than fear. Hammer and wrench tools to work through fear. 1. Name it. Say the fear out loud or write it down. Example, I'm afraid they'll reject me. I'm afraid I'm not good enough. I'm afraid I'll fail again. Naming it takes away its power. 2. Breathe into it. When fear rises, your body tightens. Your breathing shortens. Your mind races. Slow, conscious breathing signals your nervous system that you're not in danger. Just 3 deep breaths can bring clarity back. 3. Visualize the other side. Instead of focusing on the fear, ask, what happens if this goes right? What kind of person would I become if I did this anyway? How would I feel after breaking through? Sometimes, the freedom on the other side is worth the discomfort right now. Repeat button, fear and growth go together. You can't grow without fear, but you can grow through it. Every new level of your life will demand a new version of you, and fear will always show up at the doorway of transformation. That doesn't mean stop. It means you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Puzzle piece summary. Fear is not the enemy. It's a messenger. It shows up to protect you, but often ends up limiting you. Fear can be loud or subtle, and it often wears the mask of overthinking, avoidance, or perfectionism. Your brain prefers safety even when it hurts, but your soul craves growth. You don't need to erase fear. You only need to act anyway. Courage isn't about being fearless. It's about walking forward with shaking hands. Self-worth, when you finally stop chasing approval. You don't remember the first time you doubted your worth, because it didn't come all at once. Maybe it started when you weren't picked, when your voice was ignored, when your best effort wasn't enough for someone you loved. So you learned to perform, to over-deliver, to shrink yourself, to smile when you were hurting, to give more than you had just to feel like enough. And the world praised you for it. You're so reliable. You're such a giver. You're always strong. But no one asked if you were okay. Somewhere along the way, you started measuring your worth with someone else's ruler. How much you earn, how you look, who approves of you, how productive you are, how wanted you feel. The book doesn't offer an instant fix, but it tells the truth. Self-worth doesn't come from being chosen. It comes from choosing yourself, even when no one else does. There's a difference between confidence and worth. Confidence is about what you can do. Self-worth is about what you believe you deserve, even when you can't do anything at all. Confidence says, I've got this. Worth says, even if I don't, I still matter. If your worth depends on outcomes, you'll spend your life chasing them. If your worth depends on people, you'll spend your life trying to please them. And if your worth depends on being perfect, you'll never rest. Let's be honest. Most of us are tired, not just physically, but emotionally. Tired of needing to prove we're enough. Tired of earning love. Tired of waiting to feel whole. But what if you stopped waiting? What if you didn't need to be smarter, thinner, richer, more successful, more healed, more anything to deserve respect? What if you didn't have to chase worth? Because it's not something you get. It's something you remember. Here's the shift the book invites. Instead of asking, what do people think of me? Do I measure up? What do I still need to fix? Ask, do I treat myself with the same care I offer others? Do I speak to myself with kindness, even in failure? What would my life look like if I believed I was already enough? Because when self-worth rises, so does everything else. Boundaries become easier. No becomes a full sentence. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop chasing crumbs and start expecting respect. And here's the wild part. People around you shift too. They reflect back what you believe about yourself. But this shift isn't instant. It's not a quote on a wall. It's a decision made over and over quietly. I'm not begging for what I already deserve. I'm not proving my worth through exhaustion. I'm allowed to rest, to be loved, to take up space. Let this land. You don't become worthy by being strong all the time. You don't become worthy by fixing everything. You're already worthy, simply because you exist. The hard part isn't earning it. The hard part is unlearning everything that told you otherwise. Puzzle piece summary: in feeling, not bullets. Self-worth isn't loud. It's not glamorous. It's not something others hand you. It's the quiet knowing that you're allowed to show up, imperfect, messy, healing, and still be whole. Not everyone will see it. Not everyone will value it. That's okay. When you stop shrinking yourself for approval, you'll discover something better than being liked. Being free. Resilience. Bending without breaking. Some people fall apart and stay broken. Others fall apart and rebuild something stronger. What's the difference? It's not luck. It's not always support. It's something quieter, deeper, almost invisible. It's resilience. Not the loud, heroic kind, but the soft kind that whispers. Get up. One more time. No one makes it through life untouched. You will lose things you love. People will leave. Plans will collapse. Your heart will break more than once. But none of that defines you. What defines you is what you do next. Resilience doesn't mean pretending you're fine. It means falling apart when you need to and trusting you won't stay there forever. It means holding sadness in one hand and hope in the other. It means crying, doubting, hurting, and still showing up. Here's what most people don't realize. Resilience isn't built in the moment of crisis. It's built in the days before, in how you talk to yourself when no one's listening. It's built in the moments when no one claps for you, when no one sees your quiet effort. We're choosing growth over comfort. Again, the book talks about something powerful. We all carry emotional weight. Some carry grief. Some carry shame. Some carry anger, guilt, fear, regret. And yet, some people use that weight to become grounded, while others let it crush them. The difference isn't the weight. It's the foundation. That foundation is made of thoughts, beliefs, self-trust, and inner safety. Resilience asks hard questions. Can you sit with discomfort instead of running from it? Can you stay kind to yourself when the world feels cruel? Can you start over without bitterness? Can you keep going even when no one is watching? Because sometimes healing looks like rest, and sometimes it looks like moving forward with a limp. You're not weak for needing time. You are not failing because you feel broken. You are not behind because your path looks different. Resilience doesn't mean avoiding pain. It means learning from it, even if you never wanted the lesson. It means saying, this didn't break me. It shaped me. Think back. You've survived things you once thought would destroy you. You're still here, still breathing, still listening, still reaching for something better. That's resilience. You didn't quit, even when no one knew how hard it was not to. Here's a truth the book emphasizes. Rock bottom is not the end. It's where real foundations are built. You learn who you are when the world stops applauding. You discover your strength when you have no one left to lean on. You become new, not despite the pain, but through it. No one gets through life untouched. But if you let it, every heartbreak can soften you, not harden you. Every failure can humble you, not define you. Every ending can be the start of something you never saw coming. That's not easy. That's not fast, but it's real. Puzzle piece summary. Soft, not structured. Resilience is not perfection. It's not being unshakable. It's falling down and still choosing to get up again and again. It's trusting that the cracks in you are not proof of weakness, but of living, of trying, of loving deeply. You're not broken. You're being rebuilt. Wiser, softer, stronger, becoming who you are beneath the noise. You were never meant to stay the same. Not in your thoughts, not in your habits, not even in your identity. You were built to evolve, to shed, to outgrow. You were made for becoming. But the world doesn't always make that easy. From the moment you're born, it tries to name you. Good girl, strong boy, quiet one, funny one, the smart one, the failure, the black sheep, the golden child. And without realizing it, you begin to perform those labels. You bend, you contort, you become what you think others need from you. And slowly, you forget. You forget the self beneath the expectations, beneath the coping, beneath the survival. Becoming is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. Before shame, before fear, before proving. before pretending. The book reminds us, you already are what you seek. The work is to stop forgetting. You're not your mistakes. You're not your resume. You're not your bank account. You're not how many people love you. You're not your trauma. You're not your survival strategies. You are the person who made it through all of that. You are the observer, the one who chose to heal, the one who still gets up, even if no one notices, the one who tries again, even when it's hard. Becoming isn't linear. Some days, you'll feel powerful. Other days, you'll feel like you're starting over. That's not failure. That's life. Growth doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like resting. Sometimes it looks like letting go. Sometimes it looks like forgiving yourself for not knowing better. You're allowed to be a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. There's no final version of you. You will keep changing, keep unfolding, keep waking up with new eyes. And every time you choose to think differently, to speak more kindly to yourself, to respond with courage instead of fear, you are becoming not just better, but truer. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You don't need to wait until everything is perfect. You are already becoming in every quiet moment. You choose growth over safety. In every pause before you react. In every breath that replaces self-judgment with self-respect. In every time you say, this is not who I want to be, and gently shift directions. That's becoming. Not loud, but powerful. There will always be noise. External, internal, people telling you who to be. Your mind replaying old fears. The world trying to define your worth. But somewhere in you, beneath it all, is a voice that's always known the way. It may be quiet. It may be scarred. It may sound tired, but it's still there. That voice is you.